Hello there, guess who's back with a new Peach video? My name is LADYLXCK herself, and for those of you who are returning, welcome back. I know it's been a while. I have a lot of new news to share, but of course if you want to jump right into the video, if you scroll down into the description, you can find the timestamps at any time. Into this news, I've actually been picked up by a team. The same team that sponsors Best Nest, Armada, actually now sponsors me, so I will now be going by AR LADYLXCK. I also received my first package of Synapse from them, which is an all-natural energy drink, which is pretty awesome. We may do a review on these bad boys in a future video later on. Another thing that I've been wanting to incorporate into my video is actually putting the names of featured players in my video down below. So I'll be doing that. I'll at least name them. I'm not sure if I'll be able to grab everybody's social media just because like some people are on Twitter, some people aren't, so it's always a mix-up. And I'm not trying to play that 50-50. So this was another highly requested video, this time going over Float. Float is a unique aerial mechanic that Peach has had since Melee that's essential to her kit at this point. You can use it in so many ways, defensively, offensively. So this video will touch on all the different ways you can apply Float to your gameplay to level up your Pacey game. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, all of my social media will be down below in the description. I'll also start pinning it on the top comment because so many people ask me what my Twitch is in the comments, and I'm like, it's in the description, so it'll be down there in the comments as well. And without further ado, we'll get into the basics of floating. Let's get started. Peach can float at any time by holding down the jump button. While floating, Peach will remain airborne for 2.5 seconds, during which you can move horizontally left or right. Similar to a double jump, Peach is given one float per time she is in the air. You can float before or after using your double jump. You can also float at any height by pressing down while holding the jump button. This includes floating at a grounded level. Peach has complete use of her aerial moveset while floating. If Peach is holding a throwable item while floating, let's say a turnip, she will prioritize her aerials over throwing the item. Something to note is that Peach is unable to air dodge while floating, which leaves her vulnerable to attacks and projectiles. If you are hit out of your float, you are unable to float again until you land on the stage. This means that if you are hit off stage while floating, grabbing the ledge will not give you another float. However, landing onto the stage will. You can be footstooled while floating, while suffering no negative consequences, as well as float out of a footstool. Finally, float can be reversed in a way similar to a reverse aerial rush. You can do this at overhead or grounded level. This ends our floating basics. Let's move on to some applications. Defensive float. Float can be used to navigate platforms, recover, and stall. Most characters have to run off or drop through a platform in order to get around them. However, if Peach floats on a platform and continues to hold down after dropping her float, she will go through the platform. This is good for quickly moving through platforms. Peach can also float as soon as she jumps through a platform to immediately land on it. Kind of like a no-impact landing. A few ways you can recover onto the stage of float include floating high above the stage and dropping down, floating under the stage and recovering up, or floating at stage height and grabbing ledge. I've personally found that going for ledge is the best option, as you can quickly reset to stage and gain another float. Floating high above stage requires Peach to land, which she struggles with as she's very floaty and none of her aerials aid her much with landing. This means she'll likely get juggled, perhaps even to death. Floating under the stage has its own issues too, as if the opponent is a fast character, they can meet you at the other ledge. Luckily, Peach's up special is rather safe, so you'll likely make it if you beat them there. I've found the best time to float under stage is after the opponent messes up an edgeguard. You can take the time that they're recovering to reset yourself as far away as possible from them. The final defensive use for float is stalling. If you find yourself wanting to avoid your opponent for one reason or another, maybe Cloud has limit or they just came off the revival platform, you can use float in combination with Peach's other specials to avoid conflict until you deem it safe. Ideally, you would want to float from very high above the stage and circle camp on platforms, or if there are no platforms, you can float under the stage and wait, using your safe up special to re-engage. The downside to the first method is the before mentioned landing issue. And to the second method is the possibility of a gimp or getting off ledge. But mastering both will come with playing Peach and is essential to her game. Offensive Float. Float is just as good of an offensive tool as it is a defensive tool, and this is thanks to Peach's exceptional aerial game. The majority of Peach's aerials are long-lasting with low landing lag, which means you can end them early by touching the ground. This is when having float is a godsend, as we can control exactly when we touch the ground. There are two main floats I want to talk about: ground level and overhead float. Ground level floats are when you float close to the ground by simply holding down and pressing float. While doing this, you can perform aerials at the lowest possible height, something unique entirely to Peach. Your aerials will cancel as soon as you let go of float, giving control of when and how they cancel. This is called a float cancel. Float canceling allows you to string together nairs and bears into long and devastating combos. The timing can be tricky at first, but with enough labbing, they will become second nature. Float canceling your aerials is a good way to pressure your opponents, as Peach is frame safe on all her aerials except fair when cancelled this way. This means that Peach has a certain amount of frames that she can act, again, before her opponent is out of hit stun. This is most noticeable with her nair and bear. Experiment with float cancelled aerials to find the best way to exert your pressure. Overhead floats require you to float in such a way that you can still hit your opponent but cannot be grabbed. This is usually just above the character's head, hence overhead float. Overhead floats allow you to safely bombard your opponents with aerials with little retaliation on their part. This is especially prevalent with Dare for shield pressure. When in this position, opponents will often shield, and their best option afterwards will either be a short hop aerial or an evasive maneuver. You can condition them to do one over the other. One of the benefits of floating at this height is you can easily transfer from aerial attacks into Peach's normals, utilizing her nair or drag down up air. Doing so gives Peach some of her most extensive and damaging combos and strings. Experiment with overhead floats and understanding your opponent's options, but most importantly, how to punish them. Finally, here I will add some examples of myself utilizing float in different situations for inspiration and examples. Most of this footage is taken directly off of my stream, which you can find at twitch.tv/LADYLXCK, and maybe sometime we can play together too. Regardless, enjoy.
Okay. Now I just need to do one more thing. I gotta net the kill early as fuck. That's fine. Okay, now I gotta net the kill early. Okay, now I gotta get her back off stage. Die. Okay. We net the kill early. We good, boys. We good. Ow! Oh my god, Mina be swinging too! Oh my god, I was in shield. Oh, please let me make it back to stage, girl. Oh no, wait, we don't jump on those. I read that grab and you know it. I deserved it. I wanted my 72%. Please. I dropped my turn. It's okay, boo boo, it's okay. I didn't expect you to go to— oh wow, that actually has invincibility on the beginning of it, I guess, because I don't know how else you would have traded out of my back air. Oh, I DI'd that badly. Damn, nicely done, Pretty. Oh, you lived. It's happening! Okay, oh. I made it though.
So, welcome back. How'd you like the video? Hopefully there was something in there that you found helpful, whether it be the offensive, the defensive, the combos, whatever it is. If you want more of my content, I do have a bread and butters as well as just a general introduction to Daisy. I have an understated float, and I even have a little bit of snake content at my channel. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Any of the players that I fought in my stream or otherwise featured, I'll put their names in the description below, and you can also get my social media there. You can also follow me on Twitter if you have suggestions for future YouTube videos or any questions you want to personally ask me. Finally, if you want to play me live sometime, you can come by my Twitch, and I'll happily kick your ass. Or maybe you'll kick mine, who knows. Either way, I appreciate the practice regardless. I've actually been struggling a lot with the Crom Roy matchup, just because that character wasn't nearly as relevant as they are in this game, and they're crazy now. They're almost kind of like Peach, where they're very frame safe on a lot of their moves. So if you have one of those in your pocket, I'd happily take you on. I've actually been picking up a third character, believe it or not, and that's Wolf, but I'm not sure if we'll have much content for him here. We're mostly going to focus on Peach and Snake still. For our next video, I think we are going to finally do the Q&A. So we'll see how this goes off, and then we'll let that rip. The questions can be about anything from, I guess, like me personally as a person, my likes, my dislikes, my Smash history if you want something Smash related, how you guys like the blue hair, if it's too weird, if it's not, or if you didn't even notice, you gotta let me know. Something else that I wanted to say is that you're all free to use my video inside of any videos that you perhaps make. Just please put a credit to me in your description somewhere, saying that you got the original footage from here. Also, I'm sorry about the lateness of this video. We did unfortunately have a death in the family, so that did throw things out of whack for a little bit. And other than that, I think that's about it. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you Monday. And as always, may the RNG be in your favor.